how do you become a leader in this new economy? Like, what do you have to do? What do you have to build to get there? What kind of skills do you need? I think it's quite a few things. I think when I was in high school, I thought it was all about just being really good at computer science or electrical engineering and like figuring out some really new hard technical thing, and that was what's going to make me rich and it's what's going to make us really successful. And I think that's a really good thing to work on in high school. You do have to learn the basics, but actually there's a lot more things that are really important. Like when I was in high school, I'd be way too scared to be up here talking to you. And fortunately, I learned a little bit about communication over the years, but I think communication is really important. You have to be able to talk to people. You have to learn how to inspire people. I think you have to learn how to be very interested in business, in industries and how they work. So basically, not just business as a whole, but like you have to like say, I really want to learn about how this energy industry works, or I really want to learn about how this part of healthcare works. And if you're not passionate about it, you're not going to be successful in building something. And it's fine. Like vast majority of people aren't leaders. They're just going to follow. They're going to go into an industry. But if you want to be a leader, you want to be the person who changes it, you have to learn these industries as well as learning the computer science skills. And then when you learn them, you have to be able to then inspire others about what the vision should be. One thing I thought was really interesting this week, actually, there's a guy visiting town named Magnus Carlsen. He's this 23-year-old who just won the World Chess Championship. And we brought him by a couple of my companies. It was really fun. And he played simuls. He beat me pretty badly. But actually, one of the young ladies in one of my companies tied him, which was very impressive. So that was pretty cool. We got 4.5 out of 5, or half out of 5. But anyway, the thing he was saying that I thought was really relevant to this is when he does his chess homework, he studies like anywhere from a few hours to 8 or 9 hours a day, and he only studies things he's passionate about, and his teachers would like give him, here's your homework, here's what you should be doing, and if he didn't like it, he would just do other homework instead in chess. So you just ignore the stuff that he wasn't passionate about, because like you only really do well in the world if you find something you really love and you're really passionate about and study it and learn it. And you can't really quite do that in high school, I realize, unfortunately. But it's kind of funny. High school kind of trains you the opposite of how you should be, because it is all of... Yeah, it's not unfortunate. I think your job in high school is to make sure you get good grades and get into a good college. So don't like just ignore the boring stuff, because like unfortunately some of it's exciting, some of it's boring, and that's life. But I think when you do get out into the real world, it's really important to mostly spend your time on the things you really care about. And that's like almost a habit you're gonna have to break after having gone through the system that we put everyone through. But in general, it's like there's like all this stuff going on right now that's pretty fascinating. I guess the other thing I'd say about being a leader is it's actually really, really hard to start these things. And from the outside, when you look at any of these companies you've heard about, if you think of it as a graph and you think it's just like always going up and to the right, and it's like, oh, it's amazing how well they're doing. That's totally not how any of these companies work. It's always like up and down and up and down. Like anything in life you're trying to do, there's like a lot of times when everyone thinks it's failing. And your job as a leader is to kind of have this energy inside you that just you believe really hard, and you kind of pour that into everyone around you. And there's times when everyone wants to quit, everyone's questioning it, and it's your job to kind of like, to somehow rally them and somehow believe enough that you convince them to keep going. And that's true for like every great company I've seen, or every great mission you're on. It's always going to go up and down. And so that's really what it is about having the passion and the inspiration, and about like helping others believe. And that's something that's very tough to do, especially because you might not even be right, but you have to do your best to assume you're right and keep learning and pushing in the right direction. I guess the other thing I'd say about high school that's probably pretty important is it's a really good time to learn how to be like a good friend, and learn how to be loyal to people, and learn how to have that kind of discipline to be a good person. I think almost everyone I've seen who's successful, they learned a lot about relationships when they're younger, and I think that's something I thought I was just learning things in class, but actually like learning about being with each other, being social, going out there and talking to people, it's a lot more important than just getting A's in all of your math classes, I'd say. So that's something I decided I'd forgotten at the time. And then finally, I think this is a really interesting time because there's all this possibility, but it's also like there's also like a duty I think that's not really taught to us in our society that I think people should consider that we actually have here, because I know this is like one of the top high schools in the area, and you guys are like so smart young kids exposed to Silicon Valley, and it's actually like Silicon Valley's job to fix all these big industries, because not only are these industries changing, but I don't know how much you guys pay attention to this, but if we don't change healthcare and fix it, if we don't fix the financial system, like our country is actually in a really tough spot. There's all these old people right now who we owe lots of money to that are kind of stealing from all of us who are younger. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to this. It's really annoying. We're basically like massively in debt for each of us thanks to the older generations. And it's going to get even worse because like everything's getting more expensive and more broken. So it's not only like really exciting that we have this opportunity right now, it's also really, really important that some of you do learn about these industries and do help fix them, because it's the only way we can kind of make our country keep working as we get older. So happy to share that with you. And if anyone wants to chat about things afterwards, happy to connect. So it's nice to meet all you guys.